Minister, there is chaos currently in the country in terms of the location of IPAS centres. An absolute chaos. The whole space is now rife with speculation and rumour at the moment. There's no doubt in my mind that certain investors are putting in applications for an IPAS centre on properties they don't own. It is rumoured also that one of the reasons they're doing it is because it has the effect of knocking down the price of a site that they may wish to buy, because the owner of that site might be under pressure to sell it if he or she thinks that that property may come to some damage as a result of that particular speculation. So there is chaos in this situation that has to be rectified. This year, €1.2 billion will be spent in terms of IPAS. That's €35,000 per person for the year. That's an incredibly high figure for what is actually a permanent piece of accommodation. The whole system of how you're making a small few number of people extremely wealthy in certain parts of the countries is both very damaging for local communities, but it's also very damaging for the taxpayer. You need to get a grip on the cost of this particular process. Up to 80% of the people who are applying for IPAS this year so far are failing. Now that means two things, either one or two things. It means either the application process was not being implemented strictly or properly in the last 2 or 3 or 4 years. In 2022, only a quarter were filling their first application. Or it means that a new cohort of people are now applying for IPAS in this country. That may be the case because the message that was sent out from this country over the last 4 or 5 years was incredible. The message that was sent out was that Ireland was a soft touch in terms of IPAS applications. There's about 270 roads going north-south across the border. The idea that spot checks are going to solve this is madness. If a person is stopped in Dundalk and brought back to Newry, they can get the next bus or the next taxi or even walk across the border if they want in relation to it. The only way to manage this is an Irish sea border. If 80% of people are failing the asylum process, and the asylum process is costing €1.2 billion, it's fair to say that we are spending hundreds of millions of euros accommodating people who are not fleeing war and violence and who are actually moving to Ireland for economic reasons. Now, I believe we have a moral responsibility to try and protect people who are fleeing war and violence. But it's very clear from the figures that you're answering is that many, many people, if not the vast majority of people in that process, are not fleeing war and violence. Last year, we added 100,000 people onto the population of the state. It's equivalent to a city of Galway. Galway has a university, it has a hospital, it has dozens of schools, and it has tens of thousands of houses. You are not building that infrastructure in this country on an annual basis. It's going to put pressure on society. It's going to make people feel that they're in competition for those scarce resources.